Guys, welcome back to another episode of One Step at a Time with your host, the Ocean Flight 101, heading straight to full potential with zero delays. And guys, we have a great episode today. Oh my god. Not that every episode is not great, because low key, even if it wasn't an amazing episode, I'd be dropping some gems. There'd be a couple of loosey-goosey gems. You know, if I was a gold miner, I'd be listening to these podcasts. You know why? Because it's fucking gold. Anyhow, nonetheless, hope everyone's keeping well. We're coming in here on episode 35. Whoa. Last episode was Jerry Hussey. Incredible. Shout out my boy Jerry. We shut it down. And yeah, what's this episode all about? Guys, this episode is all about I ran a marathon. Woohoo! I ran a marathon. 26.2 miles. Vigorous, determined, persistent, courageous. These are all words associated with running a marathon. And yeah, what an experience it was. One second, I'm going to turn down my volume here just because I am coming in very loud. But yeah, I ran a marathon. Basically going to break down why I ran a marathon, how it went, and the whole experience. So, I guess this wasn't my first marathon. Let's get stuck into it. It wasn't my first marathon, guys. It was my second. I actually ran the 2022 marathon in London. But I haven't kind of told the whole story behind that. So that's a story for another time. We're still pushing that. I think I might go into like episode 100 and tell that story. But we will make some comparisons to the last marathon, but it's extremely different circumstances. So yeah, this marathon, I picked Milan, the great Milan, Maldini's empire, the city of Milan. I had this line I wrote, I'm about to do a marathon, I treat it like a jog in the park. They wish that in my heart, because all I ever do is hit the bullseye. That's what happens when optimism is your dirt. I really love that line. But anyhow, yeah, I did the marathon in Milan. First off, why did I pick Milan? I'd never been to Milan. Now, I heard a couple of people hating on Milan, but Milan is a really nice place. So I didn't listen. Like most times when people give me negative feedback, I don't tend to listen. I tend to try to make these experiences myself and figure out myself and determine if I will enjoy these places or not. So yeah, we embarked on an adventure. Me and the Double P Master, we headed to Milan. Shout out Paige for helping us organize the trip. So anyways, long story short, we get to Milan. Now guys, I wasn't nervous about it. I was a little anxious about it because I had an intense week. I had a really intense week. A lot of things were happening with work, and we were doing some amazing things, but it was an intense week. Things like Ed Sheeran activations, incredible. Production, doing live production on events, incredible. But nonetheless, it was an intense week. So I was a bit stressed out, I won't lie, in general, and I'd exerted a lot of energy throughout the week. So it was overall a wild week. So anyways, we got to Milan. We got this little small Airbnb which had like a window look out the shower. I'll just tell you about that after. But as I said, I was a little anxious about doing the marathon. Not because I hadn't prepared, just because I did have like a stressful week, and my preparation, it wasn't an elite level, let's say. I did prepare for it, but I wouldn't say I was fully prepared for it. I wouldn't say I was fully prepared or over prepared for it. So we'll kind of fast forward to the marathon, and I'll tell you all the bits after. But yeah, city of Milan, right at the Duomo. I'm gonna have to go back and edit that part in. I usually don't edit, but I'm gonna edit that. I should have thought of that one beforehand. But anyways, and that's where the starting point was. So I was a little anxious. I woke up that morning. I had all my gels. I had my band strapped around my waist. I was wearing my Morocco top. Why? Because I look fucking good in it. That's why. So I looked good. Had my Asics, great Asics. Had my gels. Had my sweets with me. So because I learned that from the London Marathon. Sweets are great, like especially when you're like mild, fucking 17 or 18. Pull out a few sweets, lovely. So get that sugar rush. So I had my gels. I had my gels and I had my sweets, and I was keeping hydrated to try and eat as many carbs as I could and whatnot, all that good stuff. And then yeah, so I woke up at about 7 o'clock. We got over to Duomo, the starting line, and yeah, I was feeling ready. Like I knew I was going to be able to do, I was well able for it. But I guess I was just I've been anxious maybe about my quads, because my quads were a little bit tight going into it. But anyways, went down to the train station. Me and Finn was playing a blinders always. Finn was ready for me. I'll kind of skip to the like bones of the marathon, and then I'll like put on the highlights after because I'm trying to get to the point. But yeah. So, anyways, got the train from. We were only about maybe 10 minutes away from the starting point, and got the train down the underground. Was meeting all the other runners there. The electricity was in the air. There was vibrance. There was enthusiasm. You could feel the energy, a buzz about the place. So you could feel the buzz and feel it in your bones. So we got on the train and all the other runners, and I was just getting my sticker with my number, because I thought it was going to be a sticker, but it was actually like this piece of paper that like you use little pins to put it into your shirt or your t-shirt. And it has also the track, and it has your number, your name, your country, a little flag, what size your top was going to be after, and it has a little tracker. So I give them the tracker. Now I didn't put it on my story for social media, like to give it to everyone, because like I'm going to give it to like my friends and stuff. So I give it to the friends and family if they wanted to track me, which is really cool. I highly recommend that. If you ever know someone doing a marathon or anything like that, give them the tracker, and you can see like where you're going as you move along the course. So get there, needed to do a number 1 and 2. I was very anxious about that. That's one thing I was, about getting the right timing of my going to the toilet, because that's very important, because I did not want to be going to the toilet mid-run. So anyways, get to the toilet. Did my 1s and 2s. I'll put it this way, there wasn't much tissue paper. That's all I'm saying. I won't go into detail, but there wasn't much tissue paper. So anyways, what else happened? So yeah, he was getting ready, he was doing my stretches, was feeling the energy, the buzz. Now, it was supposed to start at 8:30, but then I realized mine was going to be later, because I'd picked my time to be like further down the line, because I wasn't going to do it in a mad time. Initially, I planned on doing it under like 4.5 hours, but which is, again, it's not a great time by the standards, I guess, of marathon runners, but that's what I want to do. So anyhow, say my goodbyes to Finn. Finn's buzzing for me and I'm really excited. And Finn playing the blinder, like, so it's so appreciative to have my best friend there supporting me. It really meant a lot. And I was at the starting line and all the others, and I was doing my stretches, and I had an energy drink too. Had an energy drink and eating my sweets, and I also had porridge and bananas that morning, with oat milk. And I was getting a little bit emotional. I was like, because I was thinking on the way, man, because I won't lie, there was a lot of emotion in this one. I was thinking, because the last 3 years has been a really like grown up 3 years. I'm not gonna lie, like life's really hit from like not close, but like losing people, to like being in tough positions, to like almost losing my dreams of music and stuff, feeling like it was over for some of my dreams. So like a lot of like life stuff started to hit. I think it's amazing, because often people say when you're 25 life starts to hit you, and it really started to hit me. So all these emotions were going through my head. And I was like trying to calm myself, because emotion can be useful. You can use emotion as a fuel to push you further, but sometimes emotion can almost distract you, influence you off the path you are going, and you have to remain grounded, focused, and move forward, and not let the emotion blur your vision. So that's what I was trying to do. I was like, hold on a second, let me calm down. I have a mission at hand to do. So I was in the group of people, and I wouldn't say I was buzzing, because I think I just had such a stressful week that I exerted so much energy that I was just very relaxed. I was very relaxed. I knew what I was going to do, and I was going to do it to the best of my ability of what I had prepared for. So I was very relaxed in waiting for the beginning. And I was like, right, this is going to be an adventure. And fuck me, it was an adventure. So anyways, the energy starts to build. They go 1, 2, and then one group, and then the next group, and then it gets to our group, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. So then we start moving, and then that's the buzz. The adrenaline kicks in, and I start moving, and I start running, and everyone pulls off from the starting line, and the view of Giromo was incredible. The view of Milan as you begin. So anyways, started off, boom, I'm in the stride. Now, first off, guys, I did wear my headphones. Now, in the next marathon, I don't think I am going to wear my headphones, because to be honest, they only came in use in one aspect of the race. Apart from that, like, they weren't really useful like they were in the last marathon with the music and stuff. So in the next marathon, I probably won't use my headphones. But please, guys, no judgment, okay? I ain't an athlete. I ain't an elite athlete yet. Right. So anyways, God, so exciting. So start off, boom, the energy's rolling. First mile, grand. Second mile, it's very compact with people, right? So I was like, I have a couple of runners went to like the sidewalk just to pass out, and I was like, geez, will I do that? And I was like, because it was very compact, so I went to do that. Silly mistake. What did I do? I stood on my ankle. Which, guys, with the shoes, the Asics I had, that happened a couple times in training, and I went 5 years without ever having any injuries. But when I was training for the marathon, I must have stood on my ankle at least 4 or 5 times. That never happened before because the shoes I'm wearing, they're not very good at turning. I don't know. We'll come back to that another time. But they're very straight line shoes. Does that make any sense to anyone? I don't know. So anyways, I stood on my ankle and I was like, no, Martin. You stood on your ankle. 1 second, I gotta check. Is this all good? Yeah, it's all good. You stood on your ankle, and I was like, no, I didn't ruin it, did I? And I could feel the pain of when you stand on your ankle. But I was like, hold on a second here. Relax. Ground myself. Again, that was something, a pattern that repeated multiple times. A pattern that was repetitive over the span of the marathon. Ground myself. Let's take it just back to base. So I was like, hold a second here. I know what it's like when you stand on your ankle. It's kind of sore. You can run through it. And I'm pretty sure if I run through it, it should be okay because the pain should just slide away. And it wasn't bad. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, brought it back to base level, grounded, back to the mission hand, and then the pain, there's no pain. So again, adrenaline's a mighty thing. So anyways, mile 2, mile 3, mile 4, grand. But what, you know what wasn't grand? The heat. Ay caramba, man. We're all running. The heat was intense. It was about, I think, it was about 19 degrees. It was between, I think, 19, 20. I'm not sure if it was 19 or 20. It was one of the menus. And it was just, it made everything. I was like, oh, because I'd anticipated the heat, but I didn't anticipate it being so intense because I'd never done intense run. Okay, to elite runners, like the best out there, they learn to adapt and stuff, and that's something I will learn, to be able to adapt to the heat. But this is my first time, and wow, it hit me like a ton of bricks across the face. So I was like, hold up a second, that heat's intense. And a lot of the course had no shade. So anytime we did get to the shade, right, it literally, anytime in the marathon we got to the shade, it literally felt like I drank a liter of water. That's exactly how it felt. As soon as I got the shade, I felt like, oh my God, thank God I'm in the shade. Literally like I'd been hydrated. So that was, I was like, hold up a second here. This is something I didn't anticipate it to this degree, pun intended. So how am I going to work this? And I was like, right, just take it nice and easy when you're in the sun in the tents, and then the minute that you get shade, do a nice, like, up the speed again. So anyhow, that's kind of what I did. Was staying hydrated. I did need to take a whiz at like, even like, I think it was mile 5. I needed to take another whiz. So I took a whiz real quick. I lost like 3 minutes there or something. But anyways, got back out. And yeah, mile 6, mile 7, mile 8, grand. Again, the way I anticipated it and the way I envisioned it was the marathon doesn't start to mile 14. It really doesn't. And while my preparation wasn't at the highest degree possible, I'd prepared enough to really know that my body goes into motion in mile 14. Anything up to that's grand. It's just another jog. Like, that's all it really is. And that's exactly, the way it happened. Exactly what I enforced in my mind and exactly what happened in reality. It was really okay up until mile 14. I can't speak for other runners, and I really have to do my due diligence to see how other runners view marathons. But for me, it was perfectly okay. The speed I was going, I was keeping a good speed. I can't remember exactly, but I'll pull up the numbers. But I was happy with the speed I was going up until mile 14. But then mile 14 starts to hit, and then boom, that's when the sun started to take really a hold of me. And there was this one aspect, one like section of the marathon that was just, we went onto the motorway, right? And as soon as we got on the motorway, I was like, oh shit. I was like, uh-oh. As soon as we got on the motorway, no shade, heat belting. And I was like, and the motorway, in all fairness, the motorway was only a mile or two. I think the motorway might have only been like a mile and a half. But that mile and a half took a lot out of me. And I was really starting to slow down. And I was really starting, like, and my quads were starting to, like, that's when my quads were I started to feel it. Because that's the thing with, well, for me anyways, I can't speak for other runners, but me in the 2 marathons, it's not that I get out of breath. It's just the legs. It's like I have the energy. It's just the legs that start tightening up. And I think what I've learned is next time, I know a very precise POA that I'm going to implement next time I do it, that involves like just like going to the physio, getting some acupuncture done maybe a week or 5 days beforehand, and making sure I'm really loose because my quads were tight. They were a bit tight coming into it. Even though I'd stretched whatnot, I was still a bit tight. And that's mile 14, mile 15, my legs started to seize up, and that's like I wasn't out of breath, like maybe because I wasn't going at a crazy speed to be out of breath, but I am. So that mile or two was really hard. And then when we get into 15, 16, I think 16's where I, like, people say about the runner's wall. I don't necessarily believe in the runner's wall, because I guess it is like, maybe it's just a metaphor for like you keep hitting it. It's really, really hard to keep persevering. But that was okay because I kept moving. I was like, but my legs just started to really seize. That's the best way to, like, they started to become almost like concrete. So I was like, I knew the pace I could keep going at 16. But then when I got, so I'm at 16 and a lot of cobbles and whatnot. I'm around 16, 17, and I go around this corner. And I was like, okay, now here we go. This is what I was excited for, the depths. Because that's what when anyone asked me about doing a marathon, I specifically said I'm excited and eager to be in the depths of it. And what I meant is that depths. And for me, the depths are mile 16 really onwards. Like, you get in that nitty gritty, you get in that dark, necessary place, for me anyways, down in the trenches of your soul, of your mind, of your conscious, and you kind of see who you are almost. I'm kind of breaking it down cinematic, but that's how it felt. You really know, you see who you are, and you meet your true self when you gotta just fucking keep going. You're good no matter what. So anyways, I hit that mile 16, and that's when I just started. Up until then, I wasn't really too concentrating on like one more mile. So, but when I hit 16, okay, just make it to mile 17. That's it. Literally implementing the one step at a time mantra. Just make it to mile 17. So that, boom. All right, make it to mile 18. Boom, just make it there. And that's exactly what I did. I was, in that time period, I was like, right, just make it to 18, make it to 19. That's okay. Like, I wasn't thinking ahead. And then when I got to 20, well then, you see, again, it's just perception, guys. It's a lot of it, for me, is perception of things. Like, what is your perception of doing something difficult? Is it that you can make it easy and do it, and you might have tough aspects, but your mentality is, no, I can do it and it will be easy if I just like really believe that. And I think I kind of adapted that. I kind of really try to put that to test with a lot of I try to put to test with a lot of things I do, and especially the marathon, because I knew in my head, this is how anyone else perceives it. In my head, all I had to do is get to mile 20, because then it's only 6 miles, and that's only 2 runs. So that's only 2 5Ks for anyone else in kilometers. Me, I'm moving in miles. But that's only 2 runs. And how many times in my life have I done them 2 runs? I've done them run 2 runs, maybe. Have I done it 1,000 times? Maybe 1,000 times. From football, I was like, once I get to mile 20, I'm kind of home. It's still going to be a mile down, but I'm kind of home if I get to mile 20. So boom, that's what I was thinking. Mile 18. All right, I'm at mile 18. Just get to 19. Just get to 19. Get to 19. And I was wary of my time because I was starting to slow down. But to be honest, I didn't really give a fuck about the time. Like if I got it if I got it under 4.5 grand, class, but I wasn't really there for the time, you know. A lot of people, I think, have different goals and different aspirations when it comes to marathons. I'm there to go to the trenches and fucking finish it. And as I move forward, I will be more time focused, and I will put a lot more attention and intention to what time I'm doing it at. But this one, if I got it under 4:30, great. If I didn't, it is what it is. I was there to go to the trenches and push myself and make sure I remind myself if I know who I am. And, you know, some people can do that by, you know, going out and play a game of football, and other people have to do fucking marathons. Or some people go out for a walk in the grass, which I do, and other people fucking have to put themselves in stupid positions and really tough positions. Anyhow, I digress. Let's bring it back to base. I'm at mile 19, get to mile 20. Right, I'm at mile 20. Right. Now, here we go. This is when I really go into the depths. Starting to get a couple intrusive thoughts, but again, intrusive thoughts, they're coming, they're going, they're sliding away. I'm getting another wind. That's the thing about, for me, I kept getting like another wind. So like I get exhausted, and then I'd pull myself up, and then I pull myself up, and you get these different different boosts of energy as you run, I guess. So one second, let me take it. I get to like mile 20, mile 19, mile 20. And then I'm starting to like really hone down deep down into the conscious. And I start getting a bit emotional. Because as I said previously, guys, I'm trying to give my best shot at life. And a lot of the times my best shot doesn't feel good enough. And a lot of times I feel like I'd be slacking. And then so I was going through a lot of emotions. I was thinking of when I could have took my own life. I was thinking of the last time I did a marathon. I was thinking of like loving myself and just like pushing forward no matter what, and like not giving up in life. These are all things I was thinking of while doing the marathon. In that time period, on that mile 20 to mile 22, I guess, just pushing myself. And I took a video, and it's me crying. I'll probably post the video at some point, but it's a little intense. Not a little intense, a little like I'm crying and I sound squeaky with my voice. But yeah, I just really went down, and I was like a lot of emotion. And as I said, emotion can be used as fuel or distraction. And I kind of felt like I was in the middle on a seesaw of both, because I was like, again, just the point I've got to in this point in my life, like if I'd shown this to my younger self at 18, like all the things I've accomplished, not in terms of just like a marathon or something, I mean just in terms of making friends and being free within myself. Like there was a time where I couldn't be free. I was trapped in chains that were attached to heavy bricks, and I couldn't be free. I couldn't have joy. I couldn't feel happiness. I couldn't enjoy a conversation without intrusive thoughts hampering or degrading any fucking possibility of my identity being free. You know, my identity was just being crushed once upon a time every 5 minutes with my thoughts, and I broke out of that, and I'm breaking out of that in an ever ongoing flow. So to be able to have done that over the last 10 years, because it's almost 10 years since I would have took my life, and now I'm in a marathon pushing myself. What did I do to get here? I fucking stayed disciplined. I booked everything, just about. But I got here, and I'm doing it. So these are all things that are in my head, as well as some other things. So all these things run through my head to keep going. So that was like cleared up my tears. Around another bend I went. And this is another amazing thing about marathons. When you have energy, you see someone struggling. I was giving a pat on the back. I was like, come on, my man. Come on. You can do it, to a girl. I was like, you can do it. Keep pushing. Nothing's stopping you. Not a bother to you. And that give them an uplift. And the same for me. When I was down, someone will give me a pat on the back. I say, you can do it. And you can. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping anyone from crossing that line, no matter what. You know, no matter if it's an injury. Did you ever see Run Fat Boy Run? Great example. You might do a bit of dodge to yourself if you do pick up an injury, but if you can crawl, walk, run, get there, you can do it. I'm a firm believer in that. That's your metaphor for life. Crawl, walk, run, whatever you can do to get past that finish line. Do it. And who cares who judges? Who cares about everyone else's pace in life? Whatever pace you can do at your best, do it. So, mile 22. We come off through the park. That was actually beautiful. We went through the park, actually. That was another amazing moment. By the sounds of this, I was like, Martin, did you enjoy any of it? I was like, I did. There was a lot of up moments. So we were running through the park. That was incredible. But yeah, a lot of this is amazing. Obviously the emotional parts too. That was obviously I was thankful and whatnot. But mile 22. Right, mile 22. Boom. This is where I went. So I was kind of slow enough. We went over this bridge. We had to go up this hill around this bridge, and I thought, let me pick up the pace a little bit. But as soon as I picked up the pace a little bit, my calf nearly went. It was like a whoop. I was like, oh, and there was like an old Italian guy beside me, and he said some Italian to me. I think, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, all good, man. But I knew my pace I could do. I was like, right, that's the pace I can do. Let me continue at that pace. So anyways, we get down off this bridge, and then we get to a long road, again about a mile, and I was like, and I put on the Good, Bad and Ugly theme song. Highly recommend you look that up. It's a great movie with Clint Eastwood. Put on that doom. So I picture it. The sun's beating down. I'm on the long road. I got 20 or 30 Italians around me. We're running the marathon. We're living. We're out in life. We're giving it this the best shot you can give it. And I'm on the headphones. Doom. Wow. playing in my headphones. I feel like I'm going to war. I feel like I'm going to battle. And I put that on, I focus in. And I literally put my head like this. And I had my hat on. I put my head like this. And I was like, let's fucking go. And I just started fucking chomping. And I just started passing people out that passed me like ages ago. And I was literally keeping my eyes like this focused, just literally on the end of each road every time. And I was just like, there was like nothing stopping me here. And I did, in all fairness, I did about 2.5 miles of that. And I was pretty happy with myself. Maybe a little bit, maybe 2 miles. But I was just literally focused in. I was like, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Nobody else matters apart from me and getting to that end of the road every time. And that's what I did. And I went down. And I'll be honest with you, I went down into the conscious and I imagined, this is what I imagined. We all go to these different places, but I imagined like the devil in front of me. And I was like, who gives a fuck? I'm going at it. I'm going at you. And I ran right towards, not just. And yeah, I felt like I was at war, going to battle. I felt like I was on the fields, just running straight at fear, straight at animosity. Is how I felt I was doing. Fuck yeah. So anyways, kept running there, and then I got to mile 24, and then yeah, then it was. Then Finn was texting me. Meanwhile, I'm at mile 24. Finn was texting me. And I was like, 2.2 miles, that's nothing. Done that 100 million times, I'm going to do it. So again, slowing down a little bit. A girl, I actually stopped, did a bit of walking. Guys, I did a bit of walking. Yeah. I walked about 4 times in the marathon, maybe 5 times. Maybe I'm embellishing there. But anyways, and when I passed out, actually another Irish girl, blonde lady, very nice girl. And I give her like a pat on the back. I was like, come on, you can do it. And then when I was slowing down beyond the walk, she was like, it's only 2 miles. You can do it. She patted me on the back. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So that's what I was on about, that exchange of energy, that exchange of emotion, that exchange of inspiration. So that was incredible. So yeah, I was like, right, I can do it. This is a funny one. We're about to go around a roundabout, right? The bloody Italians, right, beeping. They're trying to get, and the police are trying to stop them as the cars are trying to go around the roundabout. As we go around the roundabout, me and about 10 other runners, and one of the Italian lads are beside me. He's cursing at them. One of the other runners, and I was just too fucking dazed at that point. But I was mentally pretty sharp and on point. No mental like. Again, it was just my legs. It was just like I was going through emotions, but mentally I was pretty sharp. Like, because I dissociated a few times when I did the London one, and like I dissociated, and there was a couple times where I just like, I don't know if I was mentally there, but in this one I was pretty mentally there for the most part, probably 98% of it. So anyhow, then we jogged through another park. I stopped to get a couple photos. The lads taking photos. I'm getting the photos. And then mile 25, close. Finn sending me great text. Let me read you the text actually that Finn sent me here, because this is so good. So Finn was sending me these texts as I ran the marathon. The highs, the slows, and the in-betweens. As Journey said, we're halfway there. It's obviously funny because Bon Jovi said that, but that's a joke. How far are you in now? He obviously wasn't looking at the app yet. Never mind, just checked. You're fucking flying it, lad. Then he goes, you're on track to do it under 5. Don't stop. Push. 4 miles left. You're looking at 4.5 hours if you give these last 4 your all. Take the win, with a trophy emoji. You've just jumped 100 places in the race. I know you have 4 hours 30 in you. Let it rip. As I said, the time is a bit slow. Final stretch, baby. 15 minutes to clear 2 miles. Bask in the glory. Which are absolutely like phenomenal. Like getting them texts like in the marathon are just phenomenal. But anyways, yeah, push to mile 26. Then 26.2 is what it said on my app, because I have an app that I did it in. It said I was on 26.2. I'd done it, and I was looking around. And I was like, where the fuck's the finishing line? And then it said another kilometer. I was like, bruh, where's the finishing line? I'd done it. I'd completed it. I was like, now it's telling me I've not completed it. So anyways, had to keep going. Then finally seen the finish line. Crossed the finish line. And again, a bit anticlimactic, because for me, the win, all the big W's come within the marathon. But yeah, crossed the finish line. Wow, what a sight crossing the finish line. Emotional. Done and dusted. Thank God did it. got my medal. Met this cutie pie who was actually there the day before. She got my, like, this lovely lady giving my medal. She was like, again, and the helpers that sorry, not to mention all the little drinks you get. You get a drink every like couple of kilometers. There's like all the volunteers giving out the ribenas and waters and stuff. They're so fucking, they keep the energy going. They're shouting you on. And I guess that's another reason I doing these marathons, is because the electricity. Like some people who maybe would question why you do a marathon, they've never experienced the true electricity of it, you know? Or maybe they've done a marathon, but maybe they didn't feel the true electricity of what doing a marathon is, because it is a big race, but it's more than that. It's the energy that's exchanged between the runners. It's the incredible volunteers that are cheering you on. It's the kids that are saying, woo, and something in Italian that I don't know. It's the music that's playing. People were playing music as we went around the course, like, and had drums and stuff. It's picking up your gear the day before, and the characters you may meet. There's so much to a marathon. It's not just a race, you know. And then you have the race itself, when you push yourself and give yourself that like ultimate fucking mission. So there's so much involved in just doing a race. Like, it's so much more than just doing a race, a big jog. Like, so that's why I love it. So anyways, get on, this lovely lady, she gave me my medal and she congratulated me, and I was like, that's great. And then I got my t-shirt, and then I seen Finn, and I just started crying. I was like, because I was just, again, just so grateful to have people in my life that like can support me in these things, and so grateful to like know them and whatnot. Like I've said it before, and I will probably say it on my deathbed. My greatest accomplishment has been being able to meet the people that are around me, and meet the friends, and keep them around me, and just how lucky I am, and celebrating that. So I just started crying. And Finn, legendary, he had a sugary delight iced coffee waiting for me, and also Coca-Cola and water and banana. So that was great. And yeah, just fucking got some pictures then with the big church in Milan. And whoa, yeah, there it is. Legs were stiff. Legs were very stiff. Yeah, I was a stiff man now. And came home, laid out in the bed, and yeah, I just fucking slept, had a big nap, slept, and then ended up going out that night for pizza and whatnot. And yeah, it was really nice. Actually, sorry, I went out and pasta, but it was a slow walking. My back was a bit sore, and my legs were very tight, and like were very sensitive, so I was moving at a slow pace. But yeah, the Milan Marathon 2025, what an experience. So I guess the takeaways, would I do a marathon, and why would I do another marathon? I guess the reason I would do a marathon is to prove to myself that I can go to them dark places and keep going. Because, you know, in order to understand how strong you are, you have to go to some dark places sometimes and make it through them places to understand how strong and how vigorous you actually are on your journey, and what they teach you, because they teach you a lot. They really do teach you a lot. So that's, guess, one of the reasons why I would do another marathon. 2, the electricity, the people you meet. It's just second to none. It's second to none. And 3, the journey, man. Just the journey of making it, going to Milan, booking Milan, seeing a new place. You know, the reason I'll always move with the intention of booking any marathon around the world, because it's attaching this great event to this wonderful city. Like, I'm always going to have sweet memories of Milan. I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for Milan. Thus, when I do the next one, be it Estonia or LA or South Africa, I'll always have this special place, because you don't do a marathon without going through emotions and coming out the other side feeling like, wow, I did it. I accomplished that. That was amazing. And I'm proud of myself. You know, being able to say I'm proud of myself. And, you know, sometimes, a lot of the time, I'm able to say I'm proud of myself if I go for a walk in the park and, you know, chat to the trees and sit on the grass. And sometimes I'm proud of myself because I did a fucking marathon. So yeah, that's some reasons why I would do it. But yeah, highly recommend, guys. Again, it doesn't have to be a marathon. It could just be going for a walk, exercising. You can accomplish the same things from smaller feats. But if you ever did want to do one, guys, go for it. Why not? There are no limits. And please don't let the limits you have put on yourself or have been given to you by other people ever be a reason for you not to accomplish something. Because there are no limits. The limits in life are only those we create for ourselves. And the real glory and accomplishment is when we break out them limits and go, yes, I can do it. Why not? Martin, why did you do a marathon in Milan? Why not? So yeah, that's that. That's that. Milan was great time. Great city, had some good food. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Me and Finn had a good time. We ended up flying into Verona. Then we got the train down to Milan, and then we ended up flying from Milan to Gatwick and whatnot. And overall, that was that. So yeah, there we go. That's the story of I ran a marathon. But is there anything else I wanted to? Oh yeah, I wanted to say this quote. It's a really beautiful quote. And then I'm just going to get into some updates of like, because I used to do the updates at the beginning of my life, but then I realized, guys, people want to, not all the all the hardcore listeners, the real ones, they like to hear about all the good stuff, but then people who are ever watching just want to get to the nitty gritty. So that's what I've kind of done. I'm trying to get to the nitty gritty at the beginning and then like all my life updates. But I really want to read this quote because it's a beautiful quote. 1 second. Get comfortable with this quote. The journey is never about the road. It's about who you become walking it. It's about who you become walking it. And I think that's a great quote just for life. So yeah, really great quote. So anyhow, that was the Milan Marathon 2025. Woohoo! Dropping some ad-libs there. Is there anything else I want to just drop in there on that now? Is there? I feel like there's probably things that I'm forgetting and whatnot. There's probably things I'm forgetting, but there we go. That's the bulk of it. So anyhow, next up, what else have you been up to, Martin? What's been on the regime of the ocean flies? 1 minute straight full potential with their list, guys. It's so good to do a podcast. I haven't done one in a while. So obviously the Jerry Hussey podcast came out. Incredible. Still have lots of content that I need to distribute via that, but that was incredible. What an experience that was. Shout out Jerry. I also have a great guest coming on next month called Daniel Davey, who's a nutritionist, worked with the Dublin football team, has a company called Davey Nutrition. A Schligach man too. Very excited for that. Very excited for that in terms of what I'm going to learn and what everyone else will learn. And again, it really lines up with like self-help and just keeping our spirit, mind and body all aligned. Because that's my goal with this podcast. 1 step at a time for all aspects of our being. You know, our spirit, our mind, our body, and our body. Sorry, our spirit. I'll show body twice. Our spirit, our mind, and our body. And obviously, the Davey Nutrition will be a big part of that because they're all connected, guys. They're all connected. So anyway, that's exciting. Also, we did. I seen Ed Sheeran there last week. That was incredible. Sorry, the week of the marathon. Actually, 2 days before, I'd seen Ed Sheeran live. That was really cool. Also, met Giggs, the rapper. Class. Met Giggs, the rapper. That was cool. Said a funny joke to him. He laughed. That was nice. Shout out Giggs. I look forward to meeting you one day again. Shout out Giggs. I met some other cool people and really cool individuals, which is really class. But it was cool meeting Giggs. Shout out Giggs. That was dope. Obviously, seeing Ed was class. Last couple of weeks, what else has been happening? A lot happening with work, Excel. We're doing a lot of great things. A lot of amazing things are happening. Learning a lot of new skills as a project manager. For those of you who don't know, I'm a project manager at Excel. So that's been a real growing process and just learning more skills, learning how to adapt to situations and just becoming more educated and more experienced in the position I'm in. So that's been really a learning curve because like you make whatever job you're in, you make big steps. And I guess it's really interesting because I'm doing so many great things and I've honestly been exhausted the last 2 weeks. Honestly, been exhausted. So I'm just trying to really hone in on understanding myself and how much energy I can put into things and balancing that because and guys, I'm also going to say something too that it's kind of like a lot of it's truth. Obviously some of it's not so much, but I never go into depth about this because it's something I keep private to myself. But if I think about it, I have sacrificed having a relationship because, you know, I'm doing things and I only have so much energy, and the energy I have for that is very precious. So I would say I have sacrificed a lot of that so far on my, because I definitely did when I was a teenager, because all I did was fucking write raps, and I intentionally never went to any parties or intentionally never went to discos, and I would just sit and write raps. So I was being honest with myself, and again, I'm not going to go into it too depth because I try to keep that private. Private, I guess. I'm not even going to say try to keep private. I guess what I'm trying to say is I chat openly so much in the podcast that I keep certain things to myself. I think that's pretty fair, pretty reasonable, and that's one thing. But I do think that's a sacrifice I have made, and sometimes that's tough, and sometimes that's grand. But yeah, that's that. Anyhow, yeah, just understanding how to live the life I'm trying to live. And that life is a very grounded, productive, and focused life is what I'm trying to live. And being honest with what I'm not going to be able to have in this current chapter. Just being super honest, right, if I want to do music, then how am I going to do that? When am I going to put the time in? Because I've realized lately, it's not that you don't have the time to do all these amazing things in life. It's that, do you have the energy to do them? Because yeah, you might have 3 hours free on a Tuesday, but you might be exhausted and don't feel like you have the energy to invest in something else, and you just want to rest, and rest is important. So I've just been learning that lately, of sometimes having the time to do something I wanted to do, but just being exhausted, and knowing that it's probably not the best idea to do it when I'm exhausted, and knowing when, yes, you got to push through when you're exhausted. So just understanding that, and that comes with experience. Wisdom comes with experience, guys. You can't teach a lot of wisdom. It just comes with experience. So that's just being honest. Thinking of going to Malta next month. I'm going back to Ireland to shoot the podcast with Daniel, so that's exciting, and see the Famaland, because I haven't seen the Famaland since Christmas. That's exciting. And yeah, obviously been in London 2 months now. Wow, quick 2 months. So just been getting more used to it and trying to leave the house more. So that's kind of some things there. But yeah, guys, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Where are we in? We're in April. Yeah, just trying to make every month count. Just trying to one month at a time, like 1 mile at a time. That's probably where they end that. And first off, guys, I hope you're keeping well. Lots of love. It's a very temperamental, very crazy time in the world right now. So I hope you're keeping your mentals and spirits well. Always remember that you choose for a lot of what you intake. Just like you choose what you eat, you choose what you listen to, and you choose what you watch. So always just remember that. To the best you can, I guess. To the best you can. And yeah, I'm gonna keep chirping along. Make sure I'm journaling. Staying in gratitude, release some music, release some podcasts, keep pushing forward with the guests and whatnot, and the professionalism of everything, and continue to meet more wonderful people on this earth. Guys, one of the greatest privileges in this world is meeting a stranger, because you don't know what story you're about to hear. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna bring it to a close. Bring it to a close. Close. Bring it to a close. Remix. Gotta bring it to a close. Close. I've been wearing my clothes. Shows. Ghost. Right, guys. Come on. Better get out of here. Guys, it's been another episode of One Step at a Time podcast with your host, the Ocean Flight 111, heading straight to full potential. With zero delays. Don't have a good day. Have a great day. Go on, get out of here, you silly rascal. You have things to do. You have places to be. Go on. Bye-bye. God bless. Bye-bye.